new evidence of the complete insanity of some of the YouTube censorship policies. This one even pissed liberals off. So
it should.
This was like a full political spectrum situation here. Go ahead and put this up on the screen. YouTube deleted a January 6th committee video because it included Trump's false election claims. And by the way, this wasn't one of those where like, once they were called out, they're like, oh, our bad, sorry, we'll put it. No. They actually stuck by it. So they say, the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol has fallen afoul of YouTube's misinformation rules because its clip from the hearings included footage of Donald Trump speaking on Fox Business. The video site deleted the file uploaded by the panel on Tuesday that showed testimony from former Attorney General William Barr because it also included the former president's election lies. So when they reached out to YouTube, the statement from YouTube spokesperson said, quote, our election integrity policy prohibits content advancing false claims that widespread fraud, errors, or glitches change the outcome in the 2020 election. If it does not provide sufficient context, we enforce our policies equally for everyone and have removed the video uploaded by the January 6th committee channel. So I hope everyone can see how dangerous and insane some of these policies ultimately are. That in the committee literally investigating, exposing how ridiculous these lies were, that they include in there Donald Trump saying his piece on whatever.
Right.
That in and of itself is enough to take down this video. It's the same thing that happened to over on Rising, remember? Same thing happened to them.
I have made this point to them ad nauseum. We are in the news business. People who are in the news say crazy and stupid shit sometimes. You cover that. You say, do you want me to be the describer of events, or is it easier if I just show it to you and then we talk about it?
Right.
What's easier? What's better for you as both a product? And also, I've made this point to them as well, which is you're actually making it so that cable news, which doesn't rely on YouTube and doesn't have the same censorship regime, can give their viewers a superior experience on their platform versus us on the YouTube platform. It doesn't make any sense. Everybody who thinks the election was stolen or anybody even who might be swayed by that, it's happened, folks. A video on YouTube of Trump saying it is not going to do anything. If anything, the best way to debunk something, to talk about something, is to show it to you firsthand and be like, this is exactly what Trump says. Here's what's wrong, X, Y, and Z. You're not changing anybody's minds. You're instituting an arbitrary and idiotic censorship regime, which will only come back to hurt not just independent creators, but everybody who is trying to further public discussion. So I think it's completely ludicrous. That's not the only video they've taken down. They took that in a New York Post video. They took out videos of people who were being interviewed on January 6th. You don't think that that's not valuable? Okay, who are these people? Who are you?
What motivated them? What did they think they were doing? All that.
What do you actually think,
that's right,
dude?
I forgot about
What's
that.
going on? You know? I mean, why? It makes no sense. There are people on YouTube doing all kinds of stupid shit. Once again, fine, whatever. I mean, I just don't understand how this could be instituted on a political basis and how they can justify taking down, again, a US government-produced video. Like, it's not up to them to decide what's true, what's not, and all of this. This just shows how far out of step that they've actually gotten.
Well, and they're also not honest about applying these standards evenly. There's actually a new piece at Jacobin, has a few quotes from yours truly, about YouTube censorship and specifically how it has come after the left to show that this truly isn't across the spectrum, or at least a sort of left-right dissident thing. Go ahead and put this Jacobin tear sheet up. This is by Branko Marcetic, who, by the way, we're having on Krystal and Friends this week. The headline here is YouTube censorship is a threat to the left. He gives a number of really significant examples here, but one of them is Jordan Chariton, who, Status Coup, one of our partners here at Breaking Points. They were there on the ground at the January 6th riots and had interviews with Trump supporters, same thing, like, pushing back on them even about their claims and all of that. And so ultimately, YouTube censors a lot of their content from that day. But what really made it egregious is because they were there on the ground and they got this incredible footage, they licensed it to some mainstream news outlets. Those mainstream news outlets, they were allowed to keep the footage on their channel. It was just Jordan, the independent creator, who actually originated it.
That's terrible. Yeah,
Totally terrible. And the other thing that I think is really important to keep in mind, and this is Ryan Grimm talks about this as well, is that like, you know, instances like this removal of the January 6th thing, it actually in some ways is good for YouTube posturing towards the liberal audience of like, see, we're taking misinformation seriously and we're being responsible and we're doing it across the board. When a lot of the real action in terms of what gets seen and what doesn't get seen is at the algorithm level. And that's what we experience more than anything. I mean, seeing the difference between the way our videos are treated here now that we're independent versus when we were at the Hill, we still get great views. We're still really grateful for, you know, you guys, and we still have plenty of audience. But the videos that would go mega viral, million views, 2 million views or whatever, that just doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. And there's zero doubt that the decisions that are being made at the algorithmic level, there's a lot going on there. And then the other piece of it is what they do feed and what will get clicks all day long is like total conspiracy theory. Like anytime you're playing with that stuff, you know it's gonna go, they go mega viral. I mean, you see people who lean into that as a business model. So they get to posture as like, oh, we're taking misinformation seriously, while profiting off of pushing some of the most insane and dishonest conspiracy theories through their algorithmic choices.
Yeah, what bothers me is just the double standard. And then also, you are not in the news business. It is not your job to decide what is true or not. It's up to people. And specifically, you should trust YouTube creators and your audience to not just be like, I watched a clip of Donald Trump saying the election was stolen, thus I believe it. That's not how people work. That's not how information gets spread around. Yeah. And look, you know, the fact that they can take down a government video and there's not actually even real outcry around this, I think it's totally nuts. It's like during COVID when they would take down testimony by legitimate doctors. Now it's extending to January. The election is gonna be a nightmare. How the hell are we supposed to do our jobs? Trump is probably gonna run for president. What are we supposed to, are you never gonna show you a Trump speech? You're gonna take down every Trump speech. Right. What are we supposed to do? Right. You know, it's like, well, look, luckily, that's why we have a podcast. That's why there's a lot of other different venues that you can watch this stuff, because we can't do our jobs properly otherwise. You know, we can't be self-censoring to give our audience a subpar product. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
you know?
No, that's exactly right.
All right.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. More for you later. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.